Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're having some great guests on here in lieu of sports not being sporty, and obviously the pandemic in progress. You can follow along on social media and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all those places. This is a guy that I've known around town as a good sports fan. He comes from a family that's been feeding people here for a long, long time. I remember many, many moons ago, seeing the Saval trucks out and following them around town and wondering what they're serving. And I've had drivers that drive for Saval, long-time listeners over 30 years. Brian Saval is the vice president of Saval Foodservice. They're right here in the DMV. They service Baltimore and Washington. Brian, I think if you was more of a Baltimore company, I know you want to be everything to everybody, and you work all over the region, but I consider you and your family to be Baltimore people, and we're in the midst of something that Baltimore hasn't seen, certainly in our lifetime, and you are in the process of getting food to people, and I want to make sure that I get out of the way and give you an opportunity to tell everything you guys are doing, because I see all over my timeline, man.
Yeah, certainly. So we are definitely a Baltimore company. We started 88 years ago right on Corned Beef Row.
Nice.
Right on Central and Lombard. So right near Atmans and Weese's. And we started as a manufacturing company. So we just manufacture deli meats, some fully cooked entree items, and we've evolved over the years where now we have two companies. One is Deli Brands of America, which is still in the city, and we manufacture deli meats, fully cooked entree items to grocery stores, supermarkets, chain restaurants, and other food service distributors. And then Saval Foodservice is our broadline side. So we sell anything a restaurant would use. So anything from your fresh seafood, cut steaks, to chemicals, to paper goods.
I have eaten your food if I have eaten in a restaurant somewhere in Baltimore anytime in my lifetime. It came from your truck, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a lot of customers in the Baltimore area, and we service from Philadelphia down to Roanoke.
Well, and being so local and being in the food business and being in the restaurant business and knowing where we are in this pandemic, run me through your timeline as someone. I mean, we talk about, and I've talked to a dozen restaurateurs. I've had Chris Richards on from Greenmount Station. I've had Melanie on from Melanie Wagner on from CVP. We've had all of our clients, whether it's Pete and Nick over at Costas and Chad at Al Seafood. We talk about seafood and produce and chicken wings and all of this different stuff. But all these restaurant people say, my employees, the neighborhood, we're trying to curbside, we're trying to take out. We've had the downside. We got unemployment for our people. We've had to deal with the government. We're trying to work all this stuff out. And then for every one of them, there's someone like you that's distributing the beer, the food, the hard products as well. I mean, this thing, and I guess from you, the distributors that bring you the meats and bring you the goods, this thing is just such a cataclysmic thing for everyone in our culture. I think we're a couple of weeks in it, and we're still trying to get our arms around it. Meanwhile, folks like you are trying to adapt on the fly and just put things together that sort of keep the spirit together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that Monday when Hogan shut down dine-in service at restaurants, and gosh, it feels like 5 months ago. But it was devastating for the restaurant industry, and it really turned the restaurant industry upside down. And don't get me wrong, it was 100% the right thing for him to do to shut the dining service down, but it forced our customers to lay off a lot of employees. And the customers that decided to close, they had to lay everybody off. The ones that stayed open just for carryout, there's really no need to have servers or bartenders. So it was a gut punch for a lot. And that day, I talked to a lot of restaurant owners and head chefs, and it was pretty touching. Pretty much everybody I spoke to, their number one concern was how are they going to help feed their laid-off employees. And at Saval, we knew we had an obligation to help. We have over 1,400 customers, and they're all mom-and-pop restaurants pretty much. And
literally almost all of them, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think that's the thing we don't understand. And no offense to McDonald's or Burger King or whatever that are big national chains or whatever, but I think all of us know someone. All of us, everybody knows someone who owns a restaurant, who's on our timeline. I saw you're working with Alex Smith over at Atlas, and you're working with a number of different people. But just as an example, on his timeline, people that I know, that you know, I mean, this really has shined a spotlight on what a cool place Baltimore is, right? Like how we are so intertwined that the Orioles can shut down the Terps, the Ravens, the Harbor, businesses, everything. But we're going to try to figure this thing out, and we're going to get creative because that's how the whole place was built to begin with, right?
Yeah, one thing that it was, I get emotional thinking about it because all of our lives were turned upside down. And the one thing that just stuck out was how the support that everybody wanted to give and the help. And, a guy like Alex Smith who is donating, I mean, his business is shut down right now, and he's donating every gift card that he gets to pay his employees. There's a guy, Zach Fine, who owns Holly Poultry. He heard about what we're doing, and he wanted to donate a ton of chicken. And every one of our customers, these restaurant owners who, there's brilliant, people that are hardworking, and all of a sudden they're, in the blink of an eye, just lost everything. So it's been a whirlwind, and it's really cool to see everybody step up and try their best to work together and make light of the situation. And yeah, we've been, we realize that we need to help out as much as we can. So we've got a ton of food, and we're not selling much, so we figure we might as well put it to good use. So we, that day we try to offer in free cases to any of our restaurants that need food to feed their employees. So we gave a ton of food away, and as the days went on, we realized that we need to just open up to any restaurant person that's been laid off. We decided to open up our warehouse and create food packages for them. So and it's still open. So anybody, anytime between Monday through Friday, if you've been laid off and you need help, we have food packages that are ready and available that we can offer. And don't be shy about it. There are a lot of really wonderful, hardworking people right now that you don't have a check coming for a couple of weeks. It's money's going to dry up. Yeah. So we want to try to help out as much as we can in that arena. Another thing we're starting. Last week we were over at Chop Tank and we had put up food donations. We had hundreds of people come, gave out a lot of food, and the very next day, Alex Smith, owner of Atlas, called me and said, "Hey, I want you back again, and how can I help?" So he donated some of the food as well, and it's going to be a great thing. We're going to be in D.C. on Friday. We're driving a truck over there, and we're going to be giving out food at Lou's Bar. We're going to do a couple times next week again. So we'll keep everybody up to date on where we're going.
Facebook, the best way to find that, Brian?
Yeah, just follow us on Facebook, Saval Foodservice, and you'll be able to see exactly where we're going.
Everybody's seen the big black trucks with the yellow logo and the red. Is that black, yellow, and red? Is that a Maryland? Is a little homage to the flag? Is that what that is?
Yeah, why not?
Just say it is. I mean, looks. When I see it, I think it's a Maryland.
It's not something I've really thought about too much, but certainly.
Well, I'm purple and orange. Can you guess why? Brian Saval's here, Vice President of Saval Foodservice. I had Tim Bojanowski from Zest Media Solutions on Baltimore Positive last week, and he enlightened me, and I hadn't thought about this. And, my father was born in 1919 in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and in 1929, he stood in soup lines and bread lines in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it affected his life. We lost him in 1992, but when I was a boy, he always told me about this, during the Depression and after the stock market crash in 29 and during the war, and he wound up down here at Martin Marietta because of the war, which is, how I wound up here and all that. But the notion that people are going hungry in this country is something that, I had Andrew Zimmern on a couple of weeks ago. We were at the Super Bowl. They do this Taste of the NFL, and, they try to fight hunger. We're all trying to feed people. I see homeless people, and we could talk about the squeegee boys and people at red lights and, everywhere through the city, but feeding people in a pandemic. And I think about my father and that story a century ago now. My father's been gone more than a quarter of a century. And last week when I had Tim on, he was talking about like when the restaurant in your neighborhood's not open and you're not bringing your truck in to bring all the fresh goods that they make, wherever your restaurant, whatever your neighborhood is, when those food resources shut down, and when cafeterias aren't serving children in the morning anymore, the breakfast or lunch that they're used to, and big areas that used to serve lots of people lunch. Yeah, maybe they get that food at a grocery store. Maybe they stock up on pasta. Maybe they hoard food. But for all that hoarded food, there's still a piece of lettuce being grown right now somewhere on the Eastern Shore that I used to get at the farmer's market on Sunday, or a piece of corn that the Bartenfelder family's grown that I used to buy off the truck on Sunday, or the pies that are getting made that Rodney makes that they had the fillings in it from the peaches that come from the orchard out. It's incredible, but paint me out on this 60 or 90 days out on some challenges that more economically challenged. And let's be honest, we're talking about 30% unemployment right now. These $1,200 checks, we'll see how far they go. But I'm sure you're much closer to this, that we got to make sure that somewhere along the line in America, we don't have these stories of soup lines and bread lines that we had a century ago. I hope it never comes to that. But there are going to be portions of our country where that's possible. That's possible.
It's definitely possible, and it's unfathomable. You think about a lot of the people and we're in, what are we in, week 2, going on week 3, that it's going to get worse and worse, and people are going to be in need. So the most important thing that everybody can do is support one another. If you see somebody out, if you have a neighbor that's out of a job, see what you can do to help feed them, and these, I want everyone to realize, a lot of these restaurants are still open. They're pivoting, and they're trying to stay open for carryout. They have safe employees that are surf-safe professionals that know how to prepare your meals in a safe manner. And the only way that they're going to survive through this is if people get carryout and people continue to eat out and spend their money at restaurants, and offer tips when you're picking up food as well. These restaurants are used to, that's how they made most of their money, is on tips. And
I had a heartwarming story. Chris from Greenmount Station said that people are coming up and ordering $50 worth of food and leaving $100. You know what I mean? Like they know, people know what's going on here. They feel it around them in every capacity. Out on Facebook all day long. How do I fill out this unemployment form? If you're a business owner, how do I approach the government about helping me make a payroll? All of that's going on for every person, and there are these acts of kindness that we need to have. We have to have that, man.
Yep. Yeah, and you're seeing it in all walks of life right now, and it's pretty great to see, and it definitely gives you a little confidence and makes you feel that, hey, no matter how long this is, we will get through it. But we need to continue it, and other things for restaurant is buying gift cards that you could use for a dine-in experience in the future. That really helps a lot of restaurants, especially the restaurants that are putting that money towards paying their employees. So that's another great way you can help. And it's just about continuing to support one another.
How many employees you have at Saval?
We have 270.
Brian, I would think at this point everybody's on edge, and you're in the food space and all that stuff, and you can't hug them or elbow bump them or fist bump them, and everybody's working remotely. You've got a warehouse where that's not really possible, right? Things have to go out. People need to do, a lot of the work that you do. What's the first thing you're going to do when we get an all clear? I'm wondering, I've been talking out loud, I don't think we're going to be allowed to go to ball games or Merriweather Post, or I don't know whether I'm really going to be able to go sit in the front window at a Michi's on a full Saturday night and have a plate of meatballs there and watch a ball game there. I don't know what that's going to be, but I think we're all getting our arms around how important we are to each other, how all of this stuff we used to do and things that we used to occupy ourselves with, this is one hell of a time out for all of us, and I think all of us are appreciating whatever that meal, whatever that person, wherever that trip, whatever that thing that you're not allowed or you can't do anymore,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll see me in a restaurant every day of the week once we get out of this. But yeah, and it's been we lost half of our business overnight, probably a little bit more than that. And one thing we're doing is we're kind of shifting and we're opening our restaurant quality food to be bought through the public. So we created a quick website it's mysaval.store, where people can do curbside pickup, and we're selling a lot of the stuff that we carry over 10,000 items, but we certainly don't earn off from that many. But we dwindled it down to about 100 different items that some that we produce that anybody can pick up right at our warehouse. So yeah, we've had to shift a little, and we've had it tough. And our biggest goal right now is to try to help the people that have been laid off, and we've had to lay off some people as well. And our hope is to get them back as soon as possible.
Well, I know I was going to see you and your crew out at the Pikesville Owings Mills event. I know you do a lot of catering. I run into your crew and your chefs out there at various events as well. And so we're missing out on all that. But if we do this the right way, we can all get back in it together. And look, this way the Orioles don't lose 100 games this year. So I'm trying to find the silver lining here. Yeah. As long as we get to have a football season. Brian, take care of yourself. I hope to see you at some point and give you a fist bump to thank you for what you guys are doing to pitch in here and taking care of all of these local businesses and local people that serve us this delicious food that we love so much and that I miss so much. I will be I'm going to ask the question, are you gaining weight or losing weight during the pandemic? I'm losing weight.
I wish I could say the same. But,
I need to go out and fatten up.
I've got chefs in here that are cooking every day for these meals. So I end up picking all day, and it's not good for my health. And I'm probably, with the amount of business that we're doing, I'm which is half, probably working double. So
you're eating the profits.
Yeah, right.
Hey, take care of yourself. It's great to connect with you. I hope to see you around town sometime soon. Keep up the great work. All right, we appreciate you and support you. All right,
me, Nestor. Appreciate it, man.
Saval Foodservice, they're local. I mean, you got to stay local and you got to keep calm. And Brian Saval, the vice president, Saval Foodservice, is staying calm. I have no worry. Everything's cool. Working with Alex Smith and the folks over at the Chop Tank to deliver food to the people who need it. Literally, restaurant, and as he said, restaurant workers, people that need food right now. They have food and they want to service you. So make sure you check them out. Saval Foods, Saval. You know the trucks. I really did think it was for Maryland. I thought like black and gold, and I thought it just looks like a Terps jersey. Looks like what Styx was wearing a couple months ago. Terps, lacrosse, basketball. Seems so close, yet so far away. But we're all in this together. We're hanging out. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm out on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat, hanging out with my cat and my wife and social distancing. I'm not shaving, as you can see. I'm on a shaving strike. I feel like a hockey player. We are WNST.net, AM 1570. Keep it calm. We're staying local. And we're always Baltimore positive, just like Brian Saval and Saval Foods.